Hello, beautiful souls. I'm thrilled to have you with me on this amazing journey of self-discovery and personal growth. Every day, we explore motivational content designed to inspire and uplift us all. Your support means the world to me, and I invite you to subscribe and join our supportive community. This way, you'll help me ensure that my content reaches those who need it most. Together, let's navigate this adventure, supporting and encouraging one another as we grow and flourish. Thank you for being here, and let's make every step of this journey count. Hello, beautiful souls. Trauma has a unique way of molding and shaping the trajectory of a person's life. For many, it becomes an invisible force that influences every decision, relationship, and experience. But for those who seek to reclaim their narrative, trauma can be transformed into a source of strength, empowerment, and inspiration. I know this from my personal journey of overcoming tremendous pain and loss and turning it into a foundation for helping others. As a trauma-informed, motivational, holistic life coach, I draw from my life experiences to guide others on their own healing journeys, helping them transform their trauma into resilience and purpose. The early years. Finding strength through adversity. My upbringing was steeped in a complex array of challenges, which often left me feeling isolated and overwhelmed. I was no stranger to the harsh realities of life. My mother's own traumatic experiences left lasting impressions on me, shaping how I viewed the world and my place in it. From an early age, I witnessed the impact of trauma on my family and understood what it meant to carry invisible wounds. These experiences were the foundation of the work I do today, but at the time, they left me feeling powerless and small. Throughout my childhood, I saw firsthand how generational trauma seeps into every aspect of life. My mother, who had endured years of abuse and neglect, carried her pain into her role as a parent. This created a tense and sometimes volatile environment, one that I had to navigate carefully. I learned early on that the world can be unkind, and that people, even those who are supposed to protect you, can sometimes be the source of your greatest pain. This awareness didn't come easily, but it was the start of a deep understanding that trauma can define you if you let it, or it can fuel your growth if you choose to rise above it. As a young adult, I carried the weight of my family's history, along with the scars of my own experiences. I lost my son, a loss that could have broken me, but instead, I found a way to use that pain to propel me forward. The grief was unbearable, and for a time it consumed me. Losing a child leaves a void that nothing can ever truly fill. Yet it was through this profound loss that I discovered the strength I never knew I had. It wasn't an overnight transformation, but a slow and steady process of healing, acceptance, and eventually, empowerment. The decision to heal. The turning point in my journey came during the time of my loss and realized I had no one to comfort me. I had to lean on myself to get through the lowest point in my life. I had 2 other children who needed me. I made the decision to not only live, I made the decision to heal. Trauma had defined so much of my life, but I realized I had the power to redefine my future. This wasn't a simple or easy decision, but it was the most important one I've ever made. I sought help, explored holistic healing methods, and slowly began the process of rebuilding my life. The journey to healing isn't linear, and it's not without setbacks, but it's possible. This decision to heal wasn't just about me. It was about breaking the cycle of trauma that had plagued my family for generations. I didn't want my children or anyone else in my life to carry the burdens I had been forced to bear. I began studying trauma, understanding its effects on the brain and body, and learning about holistic healing methods that could help people heal not just mentally, but physically and spiritually as well. I dove into neuro-linguistic programming, mindfulness practices, and body-based therapies like breathwork. These tools became the foundation of my coaching practice, as I saw how they transformed not just my life, but the lives of those around me. AENT, a holistic approach to healing. As I developed my practice as a trauma-informed coach, it became clear that healing requires more than just addressing the mind. Trauma affects every aspect of a person's being: mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. That's why I take a holistic approach in my coaching, working with clients to heal on all levels. Each person's trauma is unique, and so is their healing process. What works for one person may not work for another, which is why it's important to have a diverse set of tools to draw from. One of the key components of my approach is Neuro-Linguistic Programming, or NLP. Trauma often leaves people stuck in negative thought patterns that reinforce feelings of helplessness and fear. Through NLP, I learned how to reframe client experiences and shift their mindset. By changing the way they think about their trauma, they can begin to see it as something that happened to them rather than something that defines them. This shift is crucial for breaking free from the victim mentality and stepping into a place of empowerment. Breathwork is another powerful tool I use in my practice. The body holds on to trauma in ways that the mind often doesn't understand. By using specific breathing techniques, clients can release stored trauma from their bodies, allowing them to feel lighter, more grounded, and more at peace. I've seen incredible transformations in clients who have been able to let go of years of tension and pain through breathwork alone. Meditation and mindfulness are also integral parts of my coaching. Trauma can disconnect a person from their body, making them feel unsafe in their own skin. Through gentle meditation, I help clients reconnect with their bodies in a way that feels safe and empowering. Meditation isn't about pushing yourself to your limits. It's about listening to your body and giving it what it needs in each moment. When combined with mindfulness practices like yoga, meditation helps clients cultivate a sense of inner calm and balance that supports their healing journey. From victim to survivor, empowering clients to reclaim their lives. I have helped individuals who come from all walks of life, but the common thread among them is that they've all experienced some form of trauma, whether it's childhood abuse, the loss of a loved one, a violent assault, or a toxic relationship. Trauma has a way of making people feel small, broken, and powerless. My goal as a coach is to help my clients reclaim their power and realize that they are more than the sum of their experiences. One of the most rewarding aspects of my work when I worked with at-risk youth and families during my years in the trauma-informed field is witnessing the transformations my clients go through. I've worked with women who were trapped in abusive relationships, unsure of how to escape or rebuild their lives, and watched as they found the strength to leave and start anew. I've helped individuals who had lost loved ones process their grief in a way that allowed them to honor their loss while still moving forward with their lives. For example, one client was assigned to me after her son was taken into CPS custody. She was consumed by guilt, believing she hadn't done enough to prevent her son from being removed from their home. Through our work together, we explored the root of these feelings and how they were tied to unresolved trauma from her childhood, and how that affected her role as mother. After working with this mother, she was able to reframe her experience and find peace with her son being removed so she could work on him being returned home. My process not only helped her heal from her grief, but also allowed her to build a stronger, more compassionate relationship with herself and her son. Another client had been struggling with anxiety and panic attacks for years. Her trauma stemmed from a toxic relationship in which she had been emotionally and physically abused. She had spent years in rehab, overdosed twice, and again was at risk of losing her daughter. She tried for years to fight her addiction, but hadn't found the relief she was looking for. Through our work, we used combined techniques to help her reconnect with her body and release the trauma she had been holding on to for so long. Over time, her panic attacks decreased in frequency and intensity, and she began to feel a sense of safety in her body for the first time in years, using pain as a catalyst for growth. My journey into coaching wasn't just about healing from my own pain. It was about using that pain as a catalyst for growth. I believe that trauma, while painful, can also be one of life's greatest teachers. It forces you to confront parts of yourself that you may have ignored or buried. It challenges you to grow in ways you never thought possible, and it gives you the opportunity to use your experiences to help others. Living through my grief alone was the most profound trauma I've ever experienced. It shattered me in ways that are hard to put into words. But over time, I realized that this didn't have to be the end of my story. it could be the beginning of a new chapter. I began to see my grief as something that could fuel my growth, rather than something that would hold me back. I used this experience to connect with other women who had lost children, offering them a space to share their stories and begin the healing process. Through my work, I've been able to help them honor their grief while still moving forward with their lives. This work has been some of the most meaningful I've ever done, as it allows me to turn my own pain into a source of healing for others. The importance of community in healing. Healing from trauma is not something that can be done in isolation. It requires support, understanding, and connection. That's why I place a strong emphasis on building community within my coaching practice. Whether it's through group coaching sessions, workshops, or online forums, I create spaces where my clients can come together to share their stories, offer support, and learn from one another. One of the most powerful aspects of group coaching is the realization that you're not alone. Trauma has a way of making people feel isolated, as if no one else could possibly understand what they've been through. But when you're in a group of people who have experienced similar pain, you begin to see that you're not alone in your struggles. This sense of connection can be incredibly healing, as it allows individuals to feel seen, heard, and understood in a way that they may not have experienced before. In my group coaching sessions, I facilitate discussions around trauma, resilience, and empowerment. Clients share their experiences and offer insights and advice to one another. It's a space where healing happens not just through the work I do as a coach, but through the connections my clients make with one another. Reclaiming your narrative. At the core of my coaching philosophy is the belief that everyone has the power to reclaim their narrative. Trauma may shape your life, but it doesn't have to define it. You have the ability to rewrite your story in a way that empowers you rather than diminishes you. Through my work as a trauma-informed coach, I guide my clients through this process of reclaiming their stories. Together, we explore the beliefs and patterns that have been holding them back, and we work to shift those narratives into ones that support their healing and growth. It's not an easy process, but it's one that can lead to profound transformation. I've seen clients go from feeling hopeless and powerless to stepping into their full potential as empowered, confident individuals. This transformation isn't just about healing from trauma. It's about discovering who they are outside of their pain and learning to live a life that reflects their true values and desires. Empowerment through healing. My journey as a trauma-informed life coach has been deeply influenced by my own experiences with trauma and loss. I've walked the path from victim to survivor, and now I help others do the same. Through a combination of NLP, mindfulness, body-based therapies, and holistic healing practices, I guide my clients on their journey of transformation, helping them reclaim their power and heal on all levels. Trauma doesn't have to define your life. With the right support and tools, you can turn your pain into a source of strength and empowerment. Healing is possible, and you don't have to do it alone. Whether you've experienced childhood trauma, the loss of a loved one, or any other form of adversity, know that your story isn't over. You have the power to reclaim your narrative and create a life that reflects your true potential. Together, we can turn your trauma into triumph and help you step into a future that's filled with hope, healing, and empowerment. If this message resonates with you, please show your support by liking and sharing it with others. Don't forget to subscribe so you can stay updated with new empowering content as it becomes available. Together, we can make a difference and spread inspiration far and wide. Spread empowerment. Subscribe for inspiration.